All right, so I did a little short. I have fun doing those. They're only like a minute, with some just quick practical advice. But I wanted to expand on it before I got home. Car payments. All right. Now keep in mind, I'm in the auto industry. I've been in the auto industry for almost 25 years, and I know a thing or two, right? Now, there's some stuff I don't want to get into everything about cars. I'm not trying to solicit that type of thing here, but I do want to tell you that when I look back at my own personal actions throughout my 20s and 30s, things started to change in my 40s, and what I witness year after year with different people. Now, I can't really advise them or say, hey, you should be doing this, or you shouldn't be doing that. It's not really my place to do that. Like, hey, this payment's too much for you. So I've run Porsche stores, where high-end stuff, not stores, but I ran a Porsche store for a while, and Audi. I was with VW, and I've been with all the brands in our company, and I've been with a high-end brand, a luxury line, and I've been with the regular guy car, right? Regular family car. And what I mean is like somebody buying a Camry or an Accord, right, or a Jetta, which is what I drive, or versus a Porsche Panorama or a GT2 RS or something like that. Somebody spending $200,000, $400,000. I've never worked with a Lamborghini or anything like that, or like a super exotic car, but I can tell you that it doesn't matter. It's kind of the same principle. I see people that make a lot of money, that they have great income, but when I look at their credit, because they're financing, I can see they're living beyond their means, right? Like somebody with an income of $500,000, $1 million, right? You think, wow, man, I would dream to make that kind of money. But they have all this debt. They have a big mortgage. They have a second vacation home they're paying. It's not paid off. They have an open mortgage. They have multiple cars. They have toys, lines of credit, and sometimes people on a larger scale, because they have larger income, get in the same trouble financially, and they spread themselves too thin. They have more debt going out than they do income. And then if something happens, they're in a rough spot. So whether you live off of $2,000 to $2,000 a month, or you make $50,000 a month, or more. I mean, it's all scaled to how your lifestyle. I believe really strongly that keeping your debt low, keeping your income, cash flow available is better, and minimizing your debt. Now, I'm not talking about investments and savings and where you should put your money and what stocks you should buy and should be in a crypto, like real estate. That's not what I'm promoting here today. What I'm talking about is everywhere I look, every day when I do these videos, I'm in my car for the most part, right? And everyone is driving a car, an old car, a jalopy, a beater, or a nice car, a luxury car. I'm passing Audis and Mercedes and Porsches, and I'm passing Hondas and Toyotas and just regular cars. And if you have a high interest car loan, A, your payment is high most likely, and B, you're paying a lot of interest. And your truth in lending disclosure, if you know what that is, which is on your finance contract, there's a little section at the top of that, whether it's a PDF, meaning if it's a digital contract, or if it's just a printout contract with a wet signature. There's a little section that says truth in lending, and it tells you what your rate is. It tells you how much interest you're going to pay over the course of the loan, if you keep the loan for the full term, and how much you pay with interest and all that stuff. So when you see these large larger rates. I mean, we're in higher rates now. Regularly now I get folks that go, "What do you mean 6-7%? That's outrageous." Because they're not used to that, because some of these folks have really good credit, and they're not used to seeing the rates 5, 6, 7%. There's some special rates still available, but much shorter term. So the person has to be in a really good position. Like, imagine you're in a good position where you have very little debt, right? And you're not worried about the car payment as much. So they come up with a subvented rate, a special rate through the manufacturer, whether it's Honda, Toyota, Ford, Jeep, you know what I mean, Nissan, it doesn't matter. But it's only for 36 months, right? And therefore your payment is going to be much higher for that 36 months. But you're in a position where you're like, man, I have enough cash flow where I'm not worried about the payment. I just don't want to I don't want to like lay out 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 if I know I can tell you I can do way better with my money if it's only 0% or 1% or 1.9 than throwing it all down on a depreciating car, right? At the end of the day, I mean, maybe it's been a wacky year or two, but with the auto industry and the market, but that is not a regular thing. At some point, it's going to correct. There's all kinds of talk about it on the news and stuff. But I don't want you, whether you're one of my sons or my daughters or a friend or family member or just somebody that's I don't know, maybe you're a single parent, maybe you have limited income, maybe you're just not sure. You think, you do your research, but you get in, you go to these car dealers and there's some good people out there, and then there's not some good people, and that's in any industry, any business. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get your clock cleaned. If you ever heard that saying, you're going to get banged up, and you won't even know it. You'll be like, "Oh, I can afford it," right? And you're just paying it. And when that happens, there's all these different little things that can come into play. Like, one, you have a high car payment, high interest, so you're not paying down the principal. Or you have a high insurance payment, maybe the fuel cost is high, a combination of those things. Maybe you buy an older car and you're still subject to all those different little variables, and you have no warranty. I just saw this happen where a lady bought a pre-owned car and she had no warranty because she's like, "Oh, it's a good deal." And the warranty wasn't going to cost her much more, and she didn't get it. And then a few weeks later, unfortunately, or not a few weeks, maybe 2 months later, I saw her again, and she had like a $1,600 repair that the powertrain warranty that came with the car didn't cover. And she was frustrated, but she remembered that the dealer offered her these options for a monthly payment, and she chose not to accept that because she got a higher rate and a higher payment as a result of these other things. And she could afford the car, but if something broke, she didn't have the cash to fix it. She didn't have this liquid cash to liquidity to be able to say, "All right, I'll just pay for it out of my pocket." Some people can't. So now she's got a car that she's paying for, and she had a high interest, and she can't even drive it. So she had to try to figure something else out and trade the car in, actually, so for something else. And anyway, so you got to really be careful of that. My youngest son is 17, and we were going to buy him, a car for college. He's going to have his last year next year, and my wife and I were like, "Okay, let's get him a car for." I was thinking senior year. She's like, "No, let's do it for college, keep his grades up." And I can tell you, I'm not going to get him a crazy car, right? I'm going to get him a safe, practical car, very, very small payment if I don't just pay cash for it. And if I pay cash for it, this is not a bragging thing at all. It's just like whatever I can afford, whatever's in my budget, and I say I'm going to allocate X amount of dollars for a practical car, and all the numbers are going to make sense. With the cash I lay out, if there's going to have some type of protection, even though I'm in the auto industry, an engine, transmission, some big stuff, or even some small stuff, I want to make sure that it's covered, right? And you want to make sure those payments all make sense, whether you lay it out or you finance it, and you math it out so that it's a good deal for you in every aspect. Okay, if you're not sure, reach out. send me a message. I'm not going to charge you anything. I do this, guys, I do this for my kids and to help people. I'm not asking for likes and subscribes. I don't worry too much. I don't worry about that stuff at all. My kids have a lot of fun with it, especially the little ones. And but I'm doing this because there's not a lot of help out there, right? And everyone wants to charge you. Anyway, so the point is if you're not sure, reach out. I'll answer your question, right? I'm happy to help you, but you don't want to get in over your head. That's in anything. You want to make sure that you're budgeting these vehicles. You're not just making an impulse buy that you're going to regret later. And sometimes those regrets later, once you get locked in, it's very difficult to get out, right? Sometimes people are trapped in these cars, negative equity, and then, other things happen that they're not able to just back out. And if they turn the car in, I just turned the car in, then it's going to hurt their credit in a big, big way. And that debt doesn't exactly go away. It follows. You get the creditors call you, the balance carries for a long time. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot of things to consider. But I really hope that if you're about to buy a car at any place, right? And again, I'm in the auto industry. Like I make my main living, like my W-2 every year for the past 20 something years now, almost 25 years, has been from the auto industry. It's been a good business for me and my family. But like anything, right? And like anything at all, you can get gouged and you can make bad decisions. You can go to a good place, but your financial situation can change. You're better off having this cash flow available to buy a house, buy a property. Listen, I went to the gym. I've been doing that and trying to be healthy and free up my time and devoting some of that time. And then afterwards, I stopped at the mall to get something for my wife. And I'm always wearing hats, right? I always wear this black. And I said, what? I need to wear a different hat. I'm always wearing this black hat, and I like this black hat. And B is for the Boston Red Sox, I'm sure. But my last name's Benty, so the B. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm gonna get another hat, and I got this hat. Right now, it wasn't $1,000 or anything, but I didn't think anything about it. I didn't go, oh well, I got to pay this payment, and do I have enough in the checking account? I don't worry about it because my car is paid for, and it's only got 55,000 miles. It's a 2019 Volkswagen Jetta GLI, and I'm fine with it. My wife's like, why don't you get, I was telling her once, I want to get a Porsche Macan. That is like a car I really like. And the one I like is 90 grand, the one that I want. And I'm telling you, I can do it, whatever way, but I don't want to do it. Like, it's like a want. I have other things. Like, I want to buy a property, another property. I want to keep adding assets to my portfolio. Like, God willing, I live 20, 30 more years, but while I can, I want to just build up assets, not liabilities, not just feed you weigh things out. You're like, this is good. I can do this for myself. I can buy a hat for myself and be cool, and I'm happy because I'm okay driving this car. If I want to drive a really fancy car, I drive my wife's car. She's into that stuff. But you got to decide for yourself, because in the end, I can't do it for you. I can only just give you some input to consider. And at the end of the day, you're going to make your own decisions. All right, not financial advice. All right, again, I know it's not stocks today, but I'm doing these videos because I think it's good information, okay, for anybody to consider if you need to consider. Some people just don't have any idea and they need the help. So always reach out, and I hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you next time.